Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Percival, and today we're back with some more Binding of Issac, because I just feel like it, you know? We did a Blue Baby run, we managed to defeat the heart, although we didn't get any further than that, but we now have Issac unlocked as, like, a boss as well, and, like, the other areas, like, for the Heaven and Hell areas, but we're going to try and see if we can actually get one of those done. We'll do a normal Issac run today, and see how we get along. Other than that, I mean, how are we all doing? How are we all doing? I myself am doing alright. Doing alright indeed. Picked a lot of stuff up. I've got a long list of things I need to sort out, but we're slowly getting through them, which is kind of nice. And actually, you know, I'm actually kind of feeling good. You know? Yeah, we'll use a bomb for a bomb, why not? We could have got a coin out of it. You know what? I just feel like I'm in a good mood. Which probably means this game's about to run me through the rafters as such, or drag me through a hedge backwards. I don't know, whichever pseudonym you want to use that's going to be, I'm going to have a bad time. That is profit on a chest. But yeah. I mean, I've been kind of catching up with lots of stuff from my childhood recently. And kind of like rewatching stuff and looking over stuff, and I got back into watching some like the classic Avatar series, like the animated series. I got back into watching that just 'cause I was like, is this as good as I remember it, or was it not? Kind of thing, like, is nostalgia sort of thing. And what I will say about it, as far as I am, was the fact that something I cottoned onto it, right? And now, this may just be me, right? This may just be me. But it raised a pretty big question in my head, and I don't know why it raised the question, but it did raise the question. So we all know, kind of like, within the Avatar series, as well as like Chinese and sort of Japanese mythologies, and like going back there, they always go by like elements, and those elements normally are earth, wind, fire, water, and technically metal if you want to go into like is it Japanese culture as well, which is really interesting, right? Because the reason why I kind of like raised the thing up is, out of all the elements there, one of them kind of is not like the other, right? It's like spot the difference. And you know, I'll give you guys some time. Oh, I got hit by that. I'm gonna give you guys some time to take your guesses on what element you can think of. I mean, include all the ones you want, but there's kind of like even the subset of elements that are kind of like, they don't really belong in that particular kind of set because of a kind of particular reason, and it's kind of like not unique, but it's enough where it does raise kind of like, hang on a minute. What? And then when you realize that, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, I guess that's kind of not the same as the rest of them. And it kind of means like a lot, like, it means a lot of differences for all sorts of things. Because, like, you know, I like messing around with like magic-based systems and stuff like that, and that kind of now is affecting my D&D thinking as well, and it's just really weird, right? It's just really weird. So, I hope you all had your guesses, had a bit of fun with it, and kind of try to name an element. You think, hang on a minute, what do you mean which one doesn't belong? And some of you probably got it right, and some of you probably created a completely new one where I wasn't too sure on it. But the element I'm kind of talking about in this one is fire. Now, the reason fire is different from like earth, wind, and water is fire isn't physical. Like, it doesn't exist by itself, right? Earth exists by itself, metal, all those ones. They all exist by themselves, but fire is just a... basically, it's a product of a different reaction, right? And so I was like, yeah, so why is it that fire is so strong when... I went no keys. When we got no kind of other things. Sorry, I just got a message there. But yeah, like, fire is a little bit kind of like a out of the ordinary, because it has no physical properties. It requires something else to function above just, like, existing. And it's kind of a bit unusual, right? Which then, like, how does this work for all your magic systems and stuff like that? Because you can't just conjure fire. But, like, really think about it now. Like, if you had to sit there and, like, for instance, casting fireball, right? What is the fire burning? Like, genuinely, what is the fire burning when you cast it? If you go like, oh, it is the user's mana or whatever, like, okay, that's absolutely fine. It's it's using the user's mana, but the issue I have with that then is, like, does that mean that the fire is mana based and is like a mana fire? And does that mean, like, it will continue to burn regardless of anything else? Cool. I like a key though. Do I gamble away my one key in this golden chest? Pulls the steel pill. Oh, we've got two keys. Two keys. I thought I did not get a second key, so I'll gamble one away. And go back to the item room. But this is the same for things like lightning and stuff like that as well. Like, it doesn't exist without some other thing happening. So when you think, like, these people, like, oh, I'm going to cast Fireball. Like, are they really casting Fireball? Or are they casting something else that is, you know... I'm casting Gasoline with Spark. You know, I'm casting Molotov. Yeah. It just happens to have the side effect of causing a Fireball, right? Like, it doesn't seem much of a difference, but it kind of has, like, a really big impact on... like, what this stuff actually really does. And then my mind was like, okay, I get that, but then, like, what about other things, like fire elementals? Like, everything else I can kind of get, right? Like an earth elemental, a wind elemental, a water elemental, and... Ooh, not a bomb. I pressed the wrong button. Ooh. Justice. High Priestess. Emergency contact, lovers, just use it. But yeah, so, like, that's kind of, got a bunch of stuff kind of around my head, right? Book of Revelations. Don't want to use it on this floor yet. Just because I want to fight the boss. Because if I use it now, it'll, turn into a Meat Boy output. And I don't really want the Meat Boy. The, you know, all the bandages or whatever. Here we go. I always get bomb upgrades. Always get bomb upgrades. I never get anything decent. If I find the shop now, I'll go to the shop. See what's in there. I swear I've got every curse ever going, like, 2 times in a row. Curse the Blind. It's great. Ooh. Yeah, I'll reroll this. We'll pick that up, actually, because that will help charge us when we take damage. Yeah, because now it's got me, like, really confused on, like, all the magic stuff, right? I can just use this now, actually. And not, like, in a bad way, but in a, like, a hang on a minute way. So now I'm kind of, like, thinking, like, are there any other sort of, like, negative effects that are gonna happen now because of the fact that, like, you know, people can't just cast fire spells in the same way they can cast everything else. Because you think about it, like, earth spells will move earth or create earth, right? Take Gimpy. Do I take 25 cents for a heart? Yeah, why not? Let's go. And then, yeah, like water, you can move and create water and everything else as well, but creating flame requires you to create the flame and sustain it. So you'd expect, like, fire to be much more difficult, right? Because, like, it's this one thing where it's like I kind of looked at it and I was looking at, like, the whole Avatar series and stuff and be like, yeah, fire, you need to create the fire before you can bend it, right? So that means, like, firebenders have a such more difficult time of just, like, using firebending compared to everyone else. Am I doing some sort of challenge? Or have I just got the curse 3 times in a row? Or is it some item I picked up? Is that what is causing it? And I can't use that yet. If I'm in a challenge, I'm going to be so annoyed. I don't think I am. I think I'm just cursed. Yeah, I mean, it kind of, like, it really makes you kind of, like, hang on a minute. Yeah, and how does that work? How does that kind of, like, affect everything that I was thinking of? Because it would kind of make sense then on, like, why the Fire Nation attacked as such. Like, their bending is inherently weaker to everyone else around them. The most dangerous one is the airbenders when you really think about it, and then you got waterbenders and earthbenders to follow up on that. And inherently, the firebenders are at a disadvantage compared to all of them. And that's not even including stuff like Toph's iron bending or metal bending. And then the blood bending and stuff like that as well. Like, I hadn't even included those OP things. And yeah, like the lightning bending is pretty cool. But again, you've got to create the lightning. Right? It's not as easy as just like, oh, here it is. And then it's like, even the masters of lightning bending still will have the recoil effects from actually using the lightning bending in some cases. Except whether to spam it for the finales. Okay, come on, like, really? Like, what are these rooms? These wall crawlers that just are blind and shoot out in random directions. Yeah, that was kind of, interesting, I will say. I can go back to get my, no, I thought I saw a secret rock. So, shiny rock? I mean, I'm probably missing loads of them anyway. I mean, it makes a difference. Someone will tell me eventually one day how many of these secret rocks I'm missing. Yeah, let's take it. Why not? So yeah, but then I was like applying this logic like to everything. Like, if fire isn't a basic element, it's more of a, you know, a sub-element of an interaction of other things, right? See, you know, it's the effect of burning wood, you know? Like, fire chakra, wood chakra, all that stuff, like, it changes, like, the whole dynamic of, like, how you think, like, how you actually think how these things interact with each other. Like, from all of the, like, different anime and, like, D&D, magic systems, all those sort of things as well. Because fire just isn't a basic element, and it doesn't exist without the... like, it doesn't exist by itself, naturally. Like, lava, you could say, but that's, like, isn't lava just, like, earthbending? Oh, come on, really? At least that would be my debate on that one. Yeah, I'll pick up school bag. And bottle of pills. Speed up. Nice. Cool. So yeah, I was kind of, it kind of made me go, huh? Wait, a minute. And then my brain had those kind of like, this ain't good, now I'm going to be up all night kind of moments. And I was up all night thinking about that. I'm getting lovely room layouts, I will admit that, these days, on just like things where I'm going to take hits, because I've got things that move and shoot, and then other things that don't shoot you directly. Yeah, so I was kind of interested in, like, now applying that to, yeah, like, you know, all the magic spells that exist, right? Which would make one fire magic, like, although more, you know, although still powerful, makes it much more harder to master and kind of, like, do, right? And it also means, like, you know, there's going to be more of a cost associated with it, because not only you've got to try and cast it, you've also got to try and, like, sustain it. So, I don't know, it makes, like, fire magic a lot more interesting. Not only have you got to cast it, but to sustain the damage and stuff, you have to, like, keep it burning. And with, like, magical fire or other based fire, you kind of have to essentially just keep feeding it. You know, things that fire needs to burn, and basically you've got to use mana to support that triangle. And then, because, like, there's the other thing, because, like, you know, I'm a scientist at heart. I'm really taking lots of damage now, so I'm not concentrating. I swear I'm not getting, like, nice runes at all. At least for me, because I'm an idiot, but because, yeah, because then you think, okay, so that's fine, you know. Whatever fire is used, like, you have to sustain it in, you know, the same way you would a normal fire and everything else as well, which is absolutely fine. We can go with that. We can, you know, work around it. What color would this fire burn? Like, so much more interesting. Like, that alone just creates more questions in itself, right? I think that's, like, a much more interesting topic than discuss. It's like, okay, so if you then have to sustain the mana, what color does it burn when you're sustaining it? Is there a different... Finally, Gimpy paid out with something. Like, is it something where it would, It was a steel pill. I'm taking lots of damage, but I'm getting highly rewarded for it as well. All I need is just a little bit more damage, and I think I'd be immortal. You know, I mean, like, it could be even more interesting than that, right? Like, the magic that was used to kind of cast it, you could then have, like, not really like fire, but all fire-like stuff. So you could have, like, ice fire and water fire and earth fire and almost like a plasma type thing, or a ray, or however you want to call it in that sort of form, right? And then you have your basic fire, but... But, like, it makes fire so much more interesting when you think, like, it's not just fire, it's, like, the burning of mana. And then when you start talking about things like mana affinities, you know, what people tend to assign with those sort of things, and, like, what, you know, what ends up you using as fuel to make that fire as such, you know, gives it certain types of properties, and... Yeah, it got my mind ticking on the whole kind of like, how does this function? And what would that do? And now I can't really stop thinking about it in the back of my mind, because my mind's still going like, yeah, but what if? What if? And what about this? And what about this? You know? It might be dumb, like, I agree, like, it's like a silly thing to always be thinking about, but now it's just stuck in the back of my mind, right? It's there, it's not going away, and now I've got a worm in my head that is living rent-free. But yeah, so, that's been going on. And then because I was kind of, like, revisiting lots of old stuff, like, I don't know, I just got in the mood for nostalgia, and I started, like, watching some, old films and stuff like that as well with some friends and stuff, and I don't know, just having a grand old time.
I found pills.
All my stats go up. So yeah, I'm kind of, now I kind of want to use that idea, right? I want to use it to make something. Or to do something, or be, like, proactive with it, right? I want to sit there and come up with, like, some sort of system that works exactly in the way that I think it should do, with this sort of, like, magic kind of, like, fire, you know, property type malarkey. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to see, like, how a system like that could go around, right? Or maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm being a bit boring about it, but... You know. I mean, I've always thought about the idea of, like, changing the characteristics of things to kind of suit the necessary needs that you have within a story. So, like, you know, having a water mage, but instead of always casting water spells with cold water, it's, like, boiling. So much more interesting, don't you think? Like, everyone thinks, oh no, they're going to get swept away and drown. It's like, no, they just burn their face off. Sorry for the people that do have a burn from hot water, but it would make, like, you know... It's always one of the things where it's like, they always try and say, like, oh yeah, like, this type of magic is so much more weaker than it is. You're like, oh, hang on a minute. What if they just did this and suddenly, like, the magic, like, is way too overpowered, right? Yeah, we'll take that. Fire rate. Ooh. Actually, both of these are worth taking. This should be the bit to fly, right? No, it does not. There we go. There we go. But yeah, so that's kind of got me thinking quite a lot. I'm messing around with the idea of it and, like, the repercussions on different universes and stories and stuff if, like, fire just either didn't exist or was, you know, or if you follow the logic of it being like that, like, what implication that has on the story aspect of things, you know? Because, you know, not everything is always black and white as such, but I find that, like, more interesting than just, like, you know, changing like a simple concept like that and then seeing, like, what the repercussions of something might be if that were to happen, right? Like, does it affect things in a negative way or does it affect them in a more positive way? Range up, nice. Does it not even affect anything? Like, that's the other thing about it. Like, is it really that important enough that it would actually affect stuff like that, or would it just do nothing? That's a lot better. If I can have both. So I can always keep a charge on me and not have to worry. The item finder. Ooh, piercing shots, nice. Now that I have damage, it's kind of worth it. I was waiting for that to jump my direction then. Glass eye, we'll take it. So spectral shots, and they have piercing shots now. Oh yeah, and finally my Curse the Blind, Curse the Main, no. Oh my god, Curse the, no, not Unknown, it's Curse the Blind. Curse the Unknown? Oh my god, I don't know my curses now, this is terrible. My Binding of Issac knowledge has left me. What do I do? The Curse of the Lost. No, yeah, Curse of the Lost. That's it. Curse of the Lost. I was going to say. It was like being an idiot, but yeah. Sweet dreams. I bought it because I might as well buy it, right? Gotta pick everything up at some point. A tinted rock. We finally found one. Although he's not really tinted. Now we want to use... Ooh, use this. I guess we'll keep the bottle of pills charged up. Like, I know there's decent pills in the pool, but at this point I'd rather have it for the stat boosts than I would rather have it for anything else, right? Yeah, I've seen everything I need to. Let's go. Ooh, war. Level 2 meat boy. Oh, no. Bandage girl. But yeah. So yeah, my brain does all these stupid things all the time where I come up like, hang on a minute, how does that change stuff? How does that do things? Like, I do it all the time. I mean, it's how I got into like the whole movie monster type things as well, being I mean, I would like to take Guppy's head. So I can pretty much like almost kill a rune, then use it, and then get the stats for it, right? Much easier than the Book of Revelations to use in that sense. Ooh, fair shot, why not? But yeah, I've been kind of enjoying like watching and some of all the classic stuff I used to kind of mess around with, right? Ooh, tinted rock I missed. We can go back to that though. Huh. Oh yeah, black heart. Use that. Almost going to hit damage. That would have been great for me. I got 8 bombs, so I might as well use them. Got 1. Only 1. Shame. I mean, are there any other strange things that you guys had, like, had that sudden realization, or you were looking at something like, hang on a minute, and then you've done that, and you've been like, ah, okay, yeah, that's kind of, that's changed a lot of things for me, you know? And it's something that, like, not a lot of other people have known either. Like, it's just something you just kind of came across and were like, yeah, that's kind of a big plot hole, or that's a big issue, or hang on a minute, how does that even work? And you're like, ah. Because, yeah, I would love to hear from other people that have kind of had, like, similar things and, you know, also ruin them for me as well. Why not? Share the brain rot. Is that opening the chests for me? But it is kind of interesting, right? It is kind of interesting. Because there's another thing, so I was talking with some people from work as well, on basically weighted probabilities and how that if you were to try and actually test something while knowing the probability of something about to happen, you wouldn't get the result you're expecting, right? And it's like it's a weird thing when it comes down to like mathematics and everything else as well. But if I say something has like a 1 in 4 chance of happening, and it's a 50-50 chance, well, it's only 2 outcomes to that chance. Like we all say now, like 25% of the time it happens, 50% of the time. And to be honest, that rule kind of does apply, but not in the way you think it does. Like, when you start to kind of like actually like, you know, test the hypothesis of a probability, what ends up happening is the more likely outcome is more likely to happen. So if it's going to happen 75% of the time, it'll happen more than that because of it's more likely to happen on each instance you make it happen. If I explain that correctly, you should kind of get what I mean. So like, just because you, say, flip heads once on a weighted coin, doesn't necessarily mean that the next one will be tails, right? And because you flipped 3 times, doesn't mean the next one will be guaranteed tails. It has an equal chance of still being heads. Which means that if you were to flip it like 100 times, you'll get probably slightly above 75% of them actually being heads. Even though it's only a 75% chance. And I kind of know this because I managed to pick up data on like a massive set of data, which was like the data set was huge. Like, I mean, I had 3 months of data collected for one thing, and then another one I did it because I was interested in like, hang on a minute, is this actually something that should be happening? And then I found out that on like literally years worth of data, that what you find is when you try and test a probability and you already know the answer, the probability over an average will tend to the probability that it's meant to be, but it never actually reach it. It's like a limit. Like, yeah, you got your still variance, which you're going to have as well, like, you know, your distributions and all those sort of things also. But in theory, when you say something is less likely to happen, it never actually gets any greater on average than the chance that it should happen. And the other one is always more likely, but you'll tend to the probability it will be over time. So over time, it'll even out to what the probability should be. And this is across, like, you know, infinite number of attempts. Like, it's a weird thing to get your head around, because you think, no, you know, if I flip a coin, you know, and it's 9 out of 10 times it's coming up heads, you know, it should be, you know, 9 heads and 9 tails, or 100 times it should be 90 and 10, and, you know, 1,000 should be 900 and 100, or close to that approximation. It's like, well, no, it's probably going to be like, you know, on average, it's going to be like, well, yeah, 9 and 10 is you're going to get there because you've got the differences, but on those minuter scales with larger sample sizes, you're going to get like, you're more likely to get something like, you know, 95 rather than 90, and then like, you know, 930 than you are to get like 900. It's a weird thing of mathematics and statistics when it's applied in reality, when you have these kind of like potential odds for something to happen, when it's only 2 choices. It's more affecting on things like weighted probability and stuff like that. Like, I might not have explained it very well, because, you know, I'm sometimes terrible at articulating these things where I don't really kind of like 100% get it myself in some ways, but this one I think I kind of get to a point where I'm like, okay, I kind of understand that if something is more likely to happen, it's more likelier than you think it will happen, right? Because it's the more positive outcome of the 2 outcomes, so therefore it's going to happen more often. Irrelevant of what the probability is, but it might only be like slightly more, just because how probabilities and, you know, stuff averaging it over time actually works. Yeah, there's some weird stuff to try and figure out. Although the interesting thing is so this was something that was done that most people in investigation I did at university as well, was how many times do I need to prove something, like to attempt something before the random chance element, so the probability of stuff going wrong, is minimized as much as possible, right? And that's kind of like what ends up happening when trying to figure out, like, you know, potential odds of something happening when there's only two outcomes and one is more weighted than the other. It's like, how many times do you have to actually do that before you can get a reliable enough amount of data size to prove the probability of something is 60-40? Like, is it really 60-40, or is it like, you know, 59-41? Like that's the interesting debate, right? And there's probably a math paper somewhere on it. Like, someone's probably definitely crunched the numbers, because that's what us math guys do at some point. I'm kind of intrigued with that. I'm probably going to end up spending the time after this just trying to look up papers and see if, like, other people have looked at this idea and thought about it like me. And hang on a minute. The ball of bandages. Bandage girl. We'll take that anyway. And why not? We'll take a Guppy's collar. That way, if I get like a with the left hand a dark chest, red chest, we might be actually able to use that quite well. And then we'll have the Guppy transformation and we'll be laughing. But yeah, there's all sorts of weird things with it within our universe, because the fact that we have random chance, right? Nothing is ever as simple as it just being like 1 + 1 = 2. There's always something weird that causes it just to be slightly wrong or not quite correct or stuff like that. Although 1 + 1 + 1 is 2. I think there's a mathematical proof of that as well. Yes, there is a mathematical proof. It uses some weird a weird part of mathematics, but there is a proof that proves 1 + 1 = 2, and it's brilliant. And although the idea of it to like wrap your head around to understand it is kind of a bit weird or unusual, I don't think overall it's like that difficult once you kind of know the basics of what they're talking about. Like, you don't need to fully understand it, you just need to kind of know what the stuff means and be like, oh, okay, and then try and follow the logic through. Like, it's still weird and unusual to see it, but it's funny as hell, right? And then part of me was there being like, you know, I wish for anarchy, I wish the guy came out with 3 and was like, our entire system is wrong, you know? We completely misunderstood our entire universe, and our basics of mathematics has been completely incorrect for centuries, and we've just been getting lucky all this time due to an unknown error. But that's what science and mathematics and everything else all is about, right? It's all about that sort of building up a hypothesis on something that you believe is correct based upon evidence that's been provided to you, and then when that evidence is then contradicted or, you know, being disproven by other evidence, it's then trying to decipher why and, you know, what's the cause, how does this impact stuff. Oh, she's never done that. It takes 2. That takes 2. If I had something better than that, I'd be alright. My bad. We're just going to play the 1, because playing the 1, I think, has better odds to get the thing you want as you play it more often, I think. But yeah, I'm always interested in, like, the weird things with, like, part of sciences and mathematics and, you know, the fact that, like, when you hit a wall, the wall hits you back kind of thing, and, like, those weird logic stuff, like, they're really interesting and wacky, and to be like, hang on a minute, what? You know, like, the idea that you don't actually physically touch something, you just feel the repulsive force between the things you touch and your own hand. And what's interesting is the fact that your nerves are sensitive enough to pick up on that force. Like, not only is the fact that you don't really touch things, but the fact that your nervous system is developed in a way that you can sense that force when you apply it. And I think it's actually a metric for, like, the amount of, like, the, you know, the force that you can detect, right? Maybe I have to look that up. We're going to try and just, like, complete this floor a little bit. I want to see if I can get Guppy. So we'll do our due diligence in this room. There's no rush for anything else to do, because I think we missed most things. If I can get Guppy, that'd be great. Tower, I don't care about that. Oh, ancient recall again. And bombs the key.
Are ancient recall.
High Priestess, the moon. Moon. Choose the moon.
The moon.
It will bomb this room. A magic mush would be delightful. Yes, that's not happening. You get the pill though. Bad trip, of course. The other moon card. Would that take me to the other one then now? Or does it not work like that? Doesn't work like that. Or maybe it does. Maybe I'm just the one in the wrong. Who knows? Well, then it could just be about here, isn't it? Okay, we're leaving. Let's go. Let's defeat It Lives and move on with our lives. Are we going to have a good chance at defeating Issac on this thing, or should we go for the goat? Let's go up. Let's go up to the cathedral. Yeah, but I'm always interested in, like, random things like that, you know. The stuff that makes you kind of look at the world and go, hang on a minute, what? It makes stuff, like, more interesting when, like, things aren't as expected. It's kind of worth it, though. I might just wait until I get, like, a... another spirit heart. Didn't get another one. Disappointing, but we'll give this a try. I gotta make sure I switch properly. I don't have 9 lives or anything, so I'm literally hoping on I am praying on something else saving me. I can use that. I can use that. Keep myself alive a little bit. Can you kill yourself with that? Or can I always keep myself at the low health? Yeah, I'm kind of interested now in Like, are there other wacky bits of science that is, like, you know, when interactions go in ways you wouldn't expect them to, right? Like, it really kind of makes me think, you know, hang on a minute, is that the expected outcome of something like that? Like, does it go a different way? I think one of the other ones is interesting, which you can do if you've got them, is a polarization experiment, right? Ah, we died. Oh, we live. The Guppy's collar coming in to save me. Thank you, Guppy's collar. You really do save me when I need you the most. Probably not going to save me here, though. Come on, Spanish girl. Do the work. Save me from myself. Man, I have been so close to dying several times this run already. Spirit Heart or Fire as I'm looking for. Yeah, nothing. Who's this then? The sense of panic on my face already was hilarious. Yeah, I'm kind of interested on all those kind of like silly bits of like anything. There's always something silly about some part of your own subject that you've got an interest in, where you look at it and you're like, that can't be right, and then you find out actually it is. It's like 100% accurate, and you're like, you look at it like you're completely like a lost lamb, going like, what the actual, you know? And like later in life, you're like, oh yeah, I completely get it now. Like it makes sense, but like at the time, you're still like, hang on a minute, what? I just find it funny, you know. Like, I spent a good amount of my time at uni trying to annoy scientists with, like, random stuff and using, like, faulty logic to, like, put forward ideas, and they look at you like, no, that's not right. And then, like, they couldn't quite figure out why it's not right, and it's brilliant. This Boney is, like, doing laps just to annoy me. Oh, yeah, pick that up. Man, we got a good amount of health off that, didn't we? Let's just try a few more rooms, right? Oh, my bad.
Infested?
Cool. You know what? We're going to still try to do some other rooms. Why not? We'll try and min-max. I want to see if I can get an extra heart or two. I already lost like one, so. Plus I can get some more. Get more flies. No way. I can get more flies. But yeah, there's always random things like that that you kind of look at and you kind of get really confused over it, and you're like, hang on a minute, is that true? Is that like an actual thing? And then someone tells you like, yeah, definitely it is. You're like, no, that can't be right. And then you go up and look it up and you're like, how is that right? That can't be right. There's no way on earth that's right. Like, place names are always a fun one with that. You know, mentioning a name that it just sounds like, hang on a minute, that can't be a real place. It's always hilarious. Can I go into that, is it Curse Room? I would like to, but that'll cost me a heart. I don't want to do it. I mean, I could, like, pay the heart back if it's got something in there, and it could be a guppy item as well. And the thing is, I lose a heart just to do it, so. We'll avoid. And then we'll go face Isaac, see what we can do here. No, I don't know if I can actually die from the plug effect. If I can't, that's actually kind of good, right? But I don't really want to test it unless I actually, like, am gonna die. Oops. Which could be soon by the looks of it. Which could be soon. Which could be soon. Yeah, it could be soon. Yeah, but I'm kind of interested. Like one of the more interesting ones I know about, like music and pianos, is the fact that because the way they're tuned, you like there's no actual way to get them tuned correctly. Like they're you know, like the scale always seems off. It was so close. I have lost it. Okay, we lost on that. That's my fault. I took way too much damage and it should have been an easy win. But me trying to be like all blasé, now was so close as well. I'm annoyed by that. I'm annoyed by that. Oh well, a loss is a loss. I gotta take it on the chin. But again, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.